The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of Lexington Community Radio or its board of directors. The views expressed are solely those of the programmers.
You are listening to Off the Cuff. Now, here's your host, Adam Banks.
Welcome, everybody, to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks, coming at you live from Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you for listening to the show, and thank you for tuning in to WLXU 93.9 FM. In addition to listening on the radio, you can check out the Facebook live stream at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks, or you can download the Radio Lex app on your smartphone device, or stream us from the website at radiolex.us to listen anywhere in the entire world. I am broadcasting from the Deborah Hensley Studios here at Radio Lex on North Limestone. It is June the 15th, 2023, 4:01 to be exact. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's good to see you. And we are slap dab in the middle of June. And this is right around the time everybody is getting ready to go home and celebrate with their dad, because Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. So either you have plans or you are just now hearing it as a reminder and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have to run out and get a gift. You know, I don't have any suggestions of what to get your dad for Father's Day, because everybody is different. And I don't know about you, my dad is hard to buy for. It's not like he's somebody who wants a lot or somebody who I don't know his interest. It's just he's just very particular, which I get. I'm hard to buy for too. I think we all kind of are in our own ways. We can be hard to buy for because sometimes people pick us something out that we wouldn't necessarily wear, and we feel obligated to wear it after that. So I can see why it's a nerve-wracking thing if you don't know what to get somebody. But Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. So in good old off-the-cuff fashion, are you ready for a few Father's Day facts? Because there are a few. Because Father's Day is one of the most popular holidays celebrated here in the United States. It says here, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the necktie is the most popular Father's Day gift. So there you go. If you're looking for a gift to go get your dad, a necktie might be something to go get. The origins of the word dad may simply be baby talk. It says here the forms dad, meaning father, originating in infantile or childish speech, says the Oxford English Dictionary. So maybe that's the way the word dad was founded. There are 1.5 billion fathers worldwide. 66.3 million of those fathers are in the United States. Father's Day is the fourth largest card sending occasion in America, with almost 100 million Father's Day cards sent each year. So number one, you guessed it, Christmas. Number two is Valentine's Day. Number three, Mother's Day. And number four, all the dads get the love for the fourth ranked most sent cards on a holiday. They're ranked as number four. The Father's Day card business will ring up to about $780 million this year. It says here, according to National Geographic, Father's Day cost less than Mother's Day, with individual consumers spending $94.54 and $138.36 respectively. I mean, where's the love for the dads? It seems like the moms get the more expensive gifts. Famously, it says here, Mark Twain said the following about his father, quote, "When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old men around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much he had learned in 7 years," end quote. And I think that's interesting. I think that for a lot of people, it's quite the opposite. Growing up, you think your dad is bulletproof. He can do no wrong. He's perfect in every way. You see no flaws. And when you get older, you see the humanizing parts of your parents where they are flawed. They do make mistakes. They make bad decisions. And Mark Twain, basically what he's saying here is when he was young, he didn't want to be around his dad because he was the know-it-all. But as he got older, he found out that his dad was smarter than what he thought. And I think it's just situational for people. I mean, I think that my parents have been to the fair and seen the bear. they've climbed the mountain and seen the other side, and they know a thing or two about life. So I am never going to say I am more intelligent or know more than my parents. They might not have college education, but that does not mean that they're not smarter than me. They are. And it's because of this thing called life and wisdom. And wisdom is something that we are blessed to get as we age, and it only comes with age and the experiences that we go through. It says here another fun fact about Father's Day. It says here the idea of Father's Day was conceived by Serona Smart Dodd, who wanted a special day to honor her father, William Smart. He was a widowed Civil War veteran, left to raise 6 children on his own. So it was because of her that we even have a day, because she wanted to celebrate her dad. Daughter of the Year. It wasn't until 1972 that Father's Day was officially made a United States holiday, when President Richard Nixon helped set aside the third Sunday in June for dads. And there you have it, folks. That is some Father's Day facts for your day. Happy Father's Day coming up to all of the fathers out there. We've talked about fathers a lot on this show. I know we've talked about in the archives, we talked about the greatest TV dads, we've talked about the greatest movie dads, and now this year for Father's Day, I wanted to give you some Father's Day facts. So there you go, folks. Some Father's Day facts to start out the program. We have a great show ahead of you today, so stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. The NBA Finals have finally concluded as the Denver Nuggets won their first ever World NBA title. But since we last were on the air together, the Denver Nuggets led the series, the best of 7 series, 3-2 against Miami Heat. So it looked like that the Nuggets were a strong contender from the very beginning. We missed Game 4 and 5 since we last been on the air, so let's talk about Game 4. It happened on Friday, June the 9th. Murray obviously had been doing everything for the Nuggets in this playoff run. I think he has proven to be the star of the Nuggets. And it makes me wonder, is he the best Cal player in the NBA? Is he better than Devin Booker? Is he better than Anthony Davis? I think so. Jamal Murray is the best Cal player currently in the NBA. Fight me on that. I'm going to have to say that the man is playing at his prime. And it's hard to say anything against that because he just won a world championship. So yes, he is the best Cal player in the NBA. Best Cal player of all time? I don't know. That's yet to be determined. The Nuggets beat the Miami Heat 108-95 on Friday night's matchup to take a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. Denver wins, leaves Phoenix, Utah, and then all of a sudden we have Game 5, which was on June the 12th, and that's when the Denver Nuggets beat the Miami Heat 94-89 to win their first NBA championship after 47 years in the league. So since Denver has now won an NBA championship, that leaves Phoenix, Utah, Brooklyn, Orlando, Indiana, Charlotte, Memphis, Minnesota, New Orleans, and the LA Clippers as the 10 current franchises still awaiting their first NBA championship. So you've got 10 franchises that have never won. Denver was a part of that, but ever since Monday, June the 12th, they no longer fall in that category. They are an NBA champion. And a lot of you guys listening are thinking, thank God, Adam is done talking about the NBA. But folks, you got to think how exciting it is when one of our biggest sports in the world, here in the United States at least, is celebrating their world championship. Regardless of what a team you're a fan of or who you like watching, the NBA is such a cool league. It's a fascinating league, and we've talked a lot about it over the last 3 or 4 weeks. For instance, we talked about a couple of episodes ago the most shocking moments in NBA history. And then last week, we talked about some of the most iconic moments in NBA history? Well, since we can put a bow on the NBA as of today, let's go out with a bang and have one more great segment on the NBA. And this week, I would like to talk about the best plays in NBA playoff history. And since the playoffs just ended, let's go back in time and let's talk about some of the best moments that ever happened in the NBA playoffs. Think about throughout the historical duration of the life of the NBA as a league, all of the great playoff moments. There's been a lot of things that's happened. We've seen people take their final shots. We've seen people get injured for the final time. We've seen people make their debut. A lot has happened in an NBA playoff game. So I have compiled a list of some of the most iconic plays in NBA playoff history, some of the best plays, and I would like to start off on this list talking about the block by LeBron James. And this block is definitely one of the best plays in playoff history, and it happened in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals, and the score was the Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors, 89-89, and LeBron James blocked a shot during a fast break that Andre Iguodala was about to lay in, and it was because of that block shot the Cavs got the ball and ended up winning the game, and that is how LeBron James won an NBA title with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And think about how important that title was for LeBron James. Quite possibly his most important and his most beloved championship was the title he won with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is how he became a face in the NBA again. Before that, he was just a heel, the guy everybody hated. Well, he had to have redemption by going to Cleveland and winning a championship, and he did that. And some people say it was that block that made it happen. So let's go back and relive that moment of the famous block in Game 7 between the Warriors and the Cavs, where it was because of this block LeBron James was able to give the Cavs the ball and win the game.
The offense is running through leeway. Irving drives, hop step inside, floats up, misses. Rebound taken by Iguodala. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the
So it was a block by James, and that, folks, quite possibly could have been the block. Well, it was the block. It was the play that won them the championship in Cleveland. Okay, coming up next on my list, definitely talking about an icon here, Michael Jordan, the greatest guy to ever play basketball. This moment is his final shot. And this is in Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, where it was the Bulls facing off against the Utah Jazz. And it was Michael Jordan who took a game-winning shot with 5.2 seconds left on the clock that allowed them to win the game. And this so happened to be Michael Jordan's last shot with the Chicago Bulls. Take a listen.
From Game 7 or from championship number 6, Jordan. Chicago with the lead. Timeout, Utah. 5.2 seconds left. Michael Jordan running on fumes with 45 points.
At the end of the game, you got to get it out of his hands. He's beat you so many times. You watch Jordan play, Doug, and you know that at the end of the game, he's a killer. This was really the play that hurt Isaiah.
Amazing. And that was his last shot with the Chicago Bulls. And think about that, folks. The team of the 90s, the team that Michael Jordan made an icon, the Chicago Bulls. That was his last shot he ever made with them. And it was that shot that got Michael his sixth NBA championship, which is further proof of why Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time. Okay, coming up next on my list as one of the most iconic plays, or one of the best plays in playoff history, is Larry Bird's steal when the Celtics played the bad boys, the Detroit Pistons, excuse me. There was, for some reason, I wanted to say Lions. but it was the Pistons. It was the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals when the series was locked at 2-2, and a win for Detroit would have led to a likely series-clinching Game 6 at home, but with 5 seconds left, Detroit's Isaiah Thomas was inbounding the ball from the sideline, and Larry Bird got a quick glance at his peripheral, and he seen that Isaiah was about to pass the ball to Bill Laimbeer, and then Larry Bird intercepted the ball, and it was because of that steal that the Celtics got a layup and ended up winning that game, Game 5 in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals.
Who's got it? Detroit ball with 5 seconds to go. Thomas wants to get it in quickly. Does to Laimbeer. Stolen by Bird on the cut to DJ. Yes! Yes, and a foul!
The Celtics went on to win the game, and they had to have a Game 6, and the Celtics ended up winning that. And the Pistons didn't get their first championship yet. That's what they were looking for. They were looking for their first championship, and it was very satisfying for everybody to see the Celtics beat the Detroit Pistons because they wasn't a fan favorite. Yeah, the only people that really liked the Pistons back then was the Piston residents. All right, and finally, I've got one more here to share with the audience, and this goes on my list as one of the best plays in NBA playoff history, and this is where Reggie Miller scored 8 points in 8.9 seconds. He scored 8 points in 8.9 seconds. Think about that. It'd be easier just to say 9 seconds, I guess. 8 points in 9 seconds? That's unheard of. And Reggie Miller is one of the best players never to win an NBA championship, unfortunately. He got the Pacers close to winning it in 1995. During Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals, the Knicks were up 105-99 with 18 seconds left. And Reggie Miller ended up winning the game by scoring a fast 8 points, folks, in 9 seconds. Let's take a time machine back to that moment when that happened.
Playoff game. Miller for three, and he got it. Reggie Miller with a clutch tray, and it's 105-102. And a steal. Miller retreats to the three-point line and hits again.
Tied game, and that's 6 points in 4 or 5 seconds. And then he ended up getting a rebound, and on the rebound, he got fouled and got 2 more shots. So there you go. 8 points in 9 seconds. Definitely an iconic moment in the NBA playoffs, and it was an excellent play. So many that I didn't get to, so many that I could have named, but that pretty much puts a bow, folks, on the NBA Finals. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. Now, I'm not going to say that there will be no more NBA talk because next week we have to preview the NBA draft, which is always fun to do. It's always kind of fun to talk about the state of Kentucky basketball players during this time, how their head is, where they're going to go, will they go, and will Cal go? Will Cal make an appearance? Will Cal say anything about the draft this year? That's always fun to discuss, and that's what we'll be talking about next week. But congratulations again to the Denver Nuggets, and that, folks, was the 2023 NBA Playoff Finals. It's always fun to cover those every year, and I hope you enjoyed it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take another quick break. Stick with us. It's called Overtones Live, hosted by Renee Cobb. We did our second crossover show, and that aired during her time slot last Tuesday. She doesn't have her episodes posted on podcasts, so if you didn't get to listen to the broadcast, then you won't be able to go back and listen to those episodes. But Her and I are going to do our third crossover show during Off the Cuffs time slot sometime in July, so look for that. We had a really good time on her show last Tuesday. We interviewed Holly Forbes from NBC's The Voice, and she was a top 13 finalist on that show. And then we interviewed American Idol's Chase Bush, and he is now a member of the Goodwin Brothers. So we had a lot of fun talking to those guys, and it was a fun interaction, and I look forward to doing it again. So look for that crossover show happening during this time slot sometime in July. It will be fun, and I will post that episode on podcast. I finally got a chance to watch the Super Mario Brothers movie, the animated film that everybody's been talking about because of the income that it's generated over the last few months. It is the most successful animated film ever to be created, and it's still currently in theaters, so that means that the number still can go up. That film could still get more successful. As a matter of fact, it has grossed, as of today, $1.3 billion. 1.3 as of today, and that can still go up because it's still in theaters. And it made me start thinking, what are some of the highest grossing movies of all time? Because of all the movies that have ever existed, and there's been a lot, what's been the most successful? What's been the most grossing? What movie has made the most money? And it's hard to determine what's the most successful movie in the world because what's your criteria? Is it by awards? Is it by the money they made? Is it by how many people went and seen it? How many people nowadays stream it? It seems like that theatrical box office earnings is the primary metric for determining a film's success. So I think that society determines the success of a movie by box office earnings. That's how successful they see a movie. So I started doing some digging and I started looking up what's the highest grossing movies that are out there. And I come up with a list of 25 here. Here are the top 25 highest grossing movies out there. Some of these will surprise you. Avatar is the most successful movie of all time. It came out in 2009. $2.9 billion is what it currently is at. Worldwide, that's what it's earned. Avengers Endgame is number 2. Avatar 3 is number 3. And or Avatar The Way of Water, that's the second Avatar. That's number 3 on this list. And that film is currently still in theaters. So that movie could still surpass the first one. Number 4, Titanic is number 4. Star Wars The Force Awakens is number 5. Avengers Infinity War is number 6. Number 7 is Spider-Man No Way Home. Number 8 is Jurassic World. And that's the Jurassic World that came out in 2015. That's not even the original Jurassic Park. So it makes you think, does inflation have anything to do with this? Yes, it has to. A movie ticket in 1980 maybe cost 75 cents. A movie ticket in 2023 cost $14. So yes, inflation has something to do with this. I don't know if they include inflation into these numbers and use some type of scale. I don't think there's really any way to manage that. So I would say that that's why you don't see many old movies on this list because of inflation. Because most of these movies on this list are newer movies when movie tickets were higher. Number 9 on the list, The Lion King. Number 10, The Avengers. The Lion King, I'm talking about the 2019 Lion King, not the cartoon. Number 10, The Avengers. Number 11, Furious 7. Number 12, Top Gun Maverick. Number 13, Frozen 2. Number 14, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 15, Black Panther. Number 16, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Number 17, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Number 18, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Number 19 is the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is currently playing. Number 20, Frozen. Number 21, Beauty and the Beast, and that is the 2017 live-action Beauty and the Beast. 22 is Incredibles 2. 23 is The Fate of the Furious. Number 24 is Iron Man 3. And number 25 is Minions. And that, folks, is, according to IMDb, the most successful movies of all time. That is the highest earning movies that are out there. A surprising list, I thought. Looking through the list, I thought I would recognize more movies. I thought for sure that more people seen Home Alone in theaters than they did. But I don't even know if Home Alone is in the top 100 now. But inflation definitely has to have something to do with the list because of the amount of money and a movie ticket is today and how newer these movies are. And it's the same way with the actors. After doing some research of the most successful movies of all time, they had a list of the highest paid actors that have ever been paid in a movie. So these following actors are the actors that have gotten paid the most for one single film. And the guy who tops that list is Keanu Reeves. He has made $156 million for one movie. And that was The Matrix Reloaded. And the reason he made so much money for that one movie is because they technically paid him the salary of two movies because he shot basically two movies all together at once, and they split it up, and they didn't know it was going to be a two-movie thing when they were filming it. It was so long, they split the movie up, and they paid him for two movies, and they released it as two movies. So he is now on record as being the highest paid actor in film history, $156 million for pretty much one film. Bruce Willis, $100 million for The Sixth Sense. Tom Cruise made $100 million for Mission Impossible 2. Tom Cruise made $100 million for Top Gun Maverick. And Will Smith made $100 million for Men in Black 3. Robert Downey Jr. made $75 million for Avengers Infinity War. And Sandra Bullock is on the list at $70 million for her movie Gravity, which was a good movie. But that is some of the highest paid actors that so far have been out there that's made the most from one single movie. But all right, folks, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a load off and take off-the-cuff song of the week break. So enjoy a little All My Life by Lil Durk. We'll be back after the song.
Lately this cash I'm getting got me losing count of these bags. I've been moving, keep me down.
All right, it is now time, ladies and gentlemen, for Off the Cuff to go over its quote of the week. The weekly quotes people seem to be enjoying. And we've been starting this or doing this now for 2 months where I post a quote on social media. And usually when I post those quotes, they always get a lot of feedback. People are always commenting on the Instagram or Facebook, wherever I post, and they're always having something to say, whether they like it, they disagree with it. But Off the Cuff's quote of the week comes from Will Smith, and Willard Carroll Smith, also known as Will Smith, and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, is an American rapper actor. He has received multiple accolades, including an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, and 4 Grammy Awards. As of 2023, his films have grossed over $9.3 billion globally, making him one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. And the quote of the week from Will Smith is, "There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A." And that, folks, is the quote of the week for Off the Cuff's quote of the week. There's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. And that is talking about going all in on your initial plan. Plan A, what you want to do, go all in on it. Don't have a plan B just in case this fails, I'll do this. Oh, because all that does is gives you a cop-out. And I know a lot of people that love to stay organized, and there's people out there that they don't like to take risks. And hearing advice like that or a quote like that really puts them in a situation where they're feeling anxious. And they totally disagree with it. They have to have a plan B. All that quote is saying is there's no need for that, because if you go all in on your plan A, there's no other option. That's what you're going to have to make happen is plan A. So there's no reason to even have a plan B, because if you do have a plan B, all that can do is distract you from plan A. All right, folks, and that is Off the Cuff's quote of the week. Stick with us. We've got one more segment to go. We'll be right back. everybody to Off the Cuff. Adam Banks here with you. Last segment of the hour. As a college professor, I don't have many rules in my class when it comes to conduct. My basic rule is just treat people with respect, treat others how you would like to be treated, and that's pretty much it. We're all adults. We all know how to act, and that's just something that I expect. Now, being a college professor, I'm off for the summer, so I don't have class in session, but I bring that up because, in a nutshell, one of my rules in class is treat people with respect. So that goes without saying that no bullying allowed, because I hate bullies. I hate bullying, the act of it. There's no room for it. I've seen it in schools. I've seen it in elementary school, middle school, high school, college. I've seen it on all levels of education. I've seen it even in the workplace. So that's why I have a simple rule: treat others how you want to be treated. No bullying allowed. Because I hate it. And the reason I bring it up, because today I was outside and kids are home for the summer, so I seen these kids playing, and one kid was getting bullied pretty hard. I don't know really what it was over. I don't know if it was because who knows? Who knows? Kids find ways to bully others. But it made me start thinking of just how much I hate the act of bullying. So much because it is one of my only rules in the classroom: no bullying. When I see it, I have no tolerance for it. You're gone. So what is bullying? Bullying, if you had to put a definition on it, according to Webster, it says bullying is when people deliberately use words or actions repeatedly against an individual or a group to cause physical, social, and or psychological harm. They usually want to make the person feel less powerful or helpless. So you hear that, and it goes to show you that bullying just doesn't happen to kids. It doesn't happen to teenagers. It happens to adults too. It can happen even in your own family. You might have a family member that likes to bully you verbally. They just like to beat you down, make you feel bad about yourself. It's not just at school where we think that it can happen, and it's not just something nowadays that happens in person. Bullying can happen online. It can happen by text. It can happen by email. There's different ways to correspond with somebody. So bullying can come in all different forms, and it can cause a lot of distress for a lot of people. And I started doing some research on bullying, and I thought it was just an important topic to bring up on the show. And it's amazing sometimes how these topics come up, because I didn't know what to talk about today on the show in the fourth segment. And as I was writing the show and getting the outline together, I could see out my window this bullying situation happening. And it made me say, hey, what a topic to talk about, because I don't think I've ever talked about bullying on this show as a topic. So there are different types of bullying. There's verbal bullying, physical bullying, social bullying, and cyberbullying. Verbal bullying is when you do the name calling, the teasing, putting someone down, threatening to cause someone harm. That's verbal bullying. And nowadays, you don't see much of that because everything's online. And yes, that's called cyberbullying. It's using technology like email, mobile phones, chat rooms, networking sites. That's when you're sending those hurtful messages through technology. That's cyberbullying. Physical bullying is poking, hitting, punching, kicking, spitting, tripping, or pushing someone, breaking someone's things. That's physical bullying. People experience that all the time. Social bullying is when you are getting lied on, spreading rumors, playing horrible jokes, leaving someone out on purpose. How awful is that? I mean, I've been left out on purpose. I've been in conversation with people and I have felt left out, and I feel like that sometimes it's been on purpose. I just think that's a form of bullying. And it's when you try to also embarrass somebody in public, that's a form of bullying. So it can happen. It can happen not just at school. It can happen at work. Think about if you work with a bunch of coworkers and they're real cliquey and they're talking, having a conversation, and they know that it's something that you don't care about or want to join with, and they leave you out on purpose, that's a form of bullying. It happens. Or maybe you invite somebody to do something and you invite everybody around you except that person, and they deliberately are there feeling left out, and they're hurt, they're embarrassed. So yes, that is a bully. So why do you think people bully? What's the reason? There's many different reasons why people bully. Usually those are unhappy people. People are bullying people for all different types of reasons. They want to dominate somebody's other social status. They feel threatened by it. That's a reason. Someone who has low self-esteem seems to be known to be a bully. Someone who has a lack of remorse or failing to recognize their behavior as a problem is someone who bullies. Someone who is always jealous or angry or frustrated is always a bully, or typically can turn out as a bully. Someone who is struggling socially, someone who has a hard time making friends, someone who has a hard time getting by daily can turn into a bully or be a bully because they're just not happy. Or someone who is a victim of bullying themselves, like where they're getting bullied at home, or maybe their husband bullies them, or their wife bullies them, or their friends bully them. If they're getting bullied, usually that's why they bully. So that's some of the reasons why people bullies people. And bullying affects everyone differently. But usually if you feel bullied, it don't feel good. Usually you feel guilty because you think it's your fault. You feel hopeless. You feel alone. You don't feel like anybody can help you or listen to you. You feel depressed. You feel unsafe. You feel afraid. You feel confused. You feel stressed. You even feel ashamed that it's even happening to you. So you then don't want to talk to people. You don't want to disclose that with anybody because you feel very personal and you feel attacked in some way because it's happening to you. But that is some of the reasons why people bully. Just know if you are getting bullied, you are not alone. It happens to a lot of people. Just know that the people that are bullying you are doing it usually because they are very unhappy themselves. I've never known of a happy bully. Someone who bullies and talks mean and talks bad about other people and they're just gloating with happiness. It just don't happen. You don't have time to be mean to somebody else when you are happy yourself. But usually when that person is sad and depressed, or they're getting bullied, or they're just frustrated, then they like to lash out at people, especially people who seem happy, because they do want to demean you and make you feel like they feel. So it can never... It just usually doesn't. It's just usually from a very unhappy person. So just know that if it is happening to you, folks, you can get out of it. You can just erase that person from your life, get rid of them, and be done with them. There's no reason to keep people like that in your life. And if you can't avoid them, eventually know that your situation will change. You won't ever have to be stuck there. You don't have to be ever stuck in a permanent situation. You can always change things. We talked about change last week on the show. Change is inevitable, and it always happens, and you have control over it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps up another episode of Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. If you liked what you heard today, you will probably like our previous episodes, and you can check Off the Cuff with Adam Banks out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. You can follow the show on podcasts. We're on all different types of podcasting platforms, all the major ones. You can follow the show on social media at Off the Cuff with Adam Banks. You can follow me, the host, on social media at The Adam Banks. We release new episodes every Thursday from 4 to 5 right here on Radio X, WLXU 93.9, which means we'll be back same time, same place, next Thursday from 4 to 5. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Banks, and this is Off the Cuff. I'll catch you down the road.